Hi and welcome to A World of Words. I'm Vanessa and today I'm going to do my May reading wrap-up. This month, as you may have noticed from the thumbnail, I read a bunch of books. I'm just going to jump into it, and the first book I read this month was The Red Pyramid by Rick Riordan. This is the first book in his Kane Chronicles trilogy, and this is about a brother and sister who end up having some dealings with Egyptian gods. So Percy Jackson is Greek gods, Magnus Chase is Norse gods, and this one is Egyptian gods. I really enjoyed this book. I think I kind of understand why it might not be as popular as the Percy Jackson series. I actually found this at a thrift store for $2 and I had no idea it even existed until I saw it there. It takes a little bit longer to get into, and the magic system in this is a lot more complex than the magic in any of Rick Riordan's other books, since this is a pretty big book for the first book in a middle grade series. But I really liked it. The magic system, as I said, was more complex, and that made it really interesting. And they're not like the children of gods exactly, so I don't want to spoil it because exactly what they are is kind of a mystery in this book. I also like that it was 2 points of views. We get Carter and we get Sadie, and both of them are first person. I do think Sadie, I like her a little bit more than Carter, but that's just because I had never read a female perspective from Rick Riordan, and I love his writing style, and seeing a female perspective in his writing style was just really hilarious, and I loved it so much. And also Sadie's a little bit more sarcastic, and so I thought she was really funny. Even though I really did love Carter too, because he was a more level-headed character, and so I liked that too. I had heard that you had to read this before reading the Heroes of Olympus series. I don't know that that's true because they didn't cross over at all, so I'm probably going to read the Heroes of Olympus series before finishing this one. But if there is if you know that there's a big crossover in like one of the later books, that I need to definitely read this series before Heroes of Olympus, let me know in the comments so I don't ruin some great reading experience or anything. Alright, I'm going to stop talking about this one. It was very good. Next I read Graceling by Kristen Kishore. This was the reading and rambling book of the month for May. I don't have any idea if we are going to do a live show for it. I will let you know in the description, or if you really want to know, you can follow me on Twitter and I definitely will update there. It was really good. I'd heard mixed things about it. I heard some people say it was kind of slow, and then I heard that other people absolutely loved it. I really, really liked it. I flew through this, I think, in like 2 days. I ended up doing a mix of reading this and also listening to the audiobook. I didn't want to stop reading this, but I had other things to do, so I ended up renting the audiobook from the library as well. I also recommend the audiobook because it has a full cast narration, which was really fun, and I really want more full cast narrations. It was kind of weird because I really liked the writing style, but I didn't like the main character, Katya. I didn't really like her. She was one of those like tough female characters, but tough and grumpy at the same time. And she's kind of been judged her whole life because of her grace. Her grace is killing. And sorry if there's a bit of background noise. It just got like really hot in my room all of a sudden. I think it's the lights or something, but I had to turn on a fan. What was I saying? So in this book there are people graced, and they can have any sort of like magical powers. They can be like really good at sewing, really good at baking, or in Katya's case, really good at killing. So she's basically been judged her whole life because she is good at killing people, and so the king uses her to essentially torture people who have done him wrong and everything. So everyone's kind of afraid of her, and that's part of why she's so grumpy. But also there are people who work with her who know her, and she's still grumpy to them even though they're nice to her and are making jokes, and she's just sitting there like... That's pretty much how I picture her the whole time. So I didn't really like her, but I did like the book. The book was really entertaining, and the writing style I really enjoyed. This is the first book in a companion series, so the next 2 books don't have the same main character. This is the first time I'm actually really excited about that. And I think I gave this like 4 stars. I pretty much just knocked off a star because Katya annoyed me. I still really enjoyed this book though, and it's so shiny. Look how shiny it is. The next book I have to talk about was an audiobook, and that was Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon. I really enjoyed this. I had two main problems with it. One was the ending, and then the other one was that the narrator talked really slow. And I was listening to it on physical disc because there was a wait list for the actual MP3 audiobook, and I didn't realize that when you put your disc in, there's no way to speed up the audio. So I had to listen to it at regular speed, and the narrator for this talked really slow and kind of drove me slightly crazy at times, because if you just like look up a sample of it, you'll see what I mean. It's ridiculous that you can't speed it up. But anyway, other than that, the story I really enjoyed. I thought it was really cute. I do want to see the movie. But yeah, this was a girl who suffered from an severe allergy where she basically could not leave the house because anything in the outside world could kill her. So she was stuck inside the house for 18 years. And then the boy moves in next door who she starts talking to over email. And then she decides to meet him and he can come into her house. There's all this drama and stuff about her wanting to experience the outside world now. It was really good. It was really cute. I am going to talk about the ending because the ending, on the one hand I liked it, and on the other hand it kind of bothered me, and I will tell you why. I will place spoiler warning on the screen because there's just no way to explain it without saying exactly what happened. Basically, you find out that Maddie does not actually have this condition. Her mom actually said she had this condition because she kind of went crazy with the loss of her husband and son, Maddie's brother and father, and I guess made up the fact that Maddie had this condition, and so that it turns out that she can go outside and she can live her happy life. And while I really like that for the story's sake, for Maddie's sake, but on the other hand, I feel really bad for anybody reading this who actually has that condition and there's nothing they can do about it. So like for their sake, I thought it would have been kind of cool if she did have it and found a way to live a happy and fulfilled life with her condition and still have love and everything that she wants. I didn't like the message. I don't think it was actually the message that the author was trying to send, but it kind of felt like the message she was sending was you can't have that condition and still live a fulfilled life. The only way you can live like a complete happy life is to go out in the world and experience everything. And I feel like that was kind of mean to anybody who actually has it. Like, she's not saying you can't, but then like it's a little bit what she was saying. That's the only thing that I wasn't 100% happy with when I stopped to kind of think about it. So I kind of have mixed feelings about the ending. So I think I gave it 4 stars instead of 5 stars just because I was a little bit conflicted about that. And the next book I read was a very popular one this month, and that is A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas, the 3rd book in the Court of Thorns and Roses series. We are all done with Feyre and Rhys's storyline here. It was very good. I was very happy with this conclusion. I think some people had some problems with it, saying that there weren't high enough stakes and all of that, but I really enjoyed it. I actually have a Snapchat book talk for it, so if you want to see my reactions as I'm reading this with the silly Snapchat filters, that was a really fun video to make, so I will link that in the cards above, so you can go click that if you want to. Not sure I'm 100% on board with all of the like ships in it. I have my own opinions about them. I did enjoy this very much, and I thought it was a really good conclusion to the series. Next, I listened to another audiobook, and that was The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. This book has been getting so much hype, and I did really enjoy it. I did listen to the audiobook. This book was so good that really exciting story time coming up. I was cleaning my bathroom, and I was only going to clean it for maybe about a half hour or so I was listening to the audiobook while doing that. I was getting really exhausted, but I was really enjoying the audiobook, so I just kept going. And then I realized later that I had been cleaning for 2 hours instead of a half hour. I didn't realize it because I was enjoying the audiobook so much. It was a really cute story about this girl named Molly who has had 26 crushes and no boyfriends, and she's only 17, which is pretty extreme. And her twin sister gets a girlfriend for the first time, and she feels like they're drifting apart, so it deals with that. And plus there are also a couple guys that she likes in this book. One that her sister seems to be pushing on her, and then one that starts out as friends and then starts to develop feelings for. There were a couple things I didn't like about Molly and her personality. And these things that I'm nitpicking, like, one of them is kind of a big deal, and that's the last one I'm going to talk about. But the other two are like really superficial things that annoyed me. Offense number one. She first judges Reed, the boy who she works with, because he's wearing a Lord of the Rings shirt. And she says it like it's a bad thing. And I'm like, excuse me. Lord of the Rings is awesome. I don't know what her problem is, acting like it's uncool or something, and I'm like sitting there thinking, okay, Lord of the Rings is a story about the unexpected people can change the fate of the world, and it's also about different races, the humans, elves, and the dwarves, getting over their differences and fighting alongside each other for a common cause to save the world. I don't know what's uncool about that, but like when people start to like insult other people for being uncool and stuff, it immediately makes me think that they are uncool characters, because I'm like, what makes you better than him? There was a disconnect there. Second offense. This might have even bothered me a little bit more than Lord of the Rings, but probably not, was when she said the song Skater Boy by Avril Lavigne almost ruined music. Excuse you. Skater Boy was my jam at like 14. I don't know what her problem is. She has weird taste. So those are just a couple like little things that don't really matter that annoyed me about the character. I do love the fact, however, that this takes place in Maryland, because that's where I live, and it even starts out at the 930 Club in DC, and I've been there. So that was really fun, and then it also takes place in, I think, mostly Tacoma Park and Silver Spring. I think they went to downtown Silver Spring at one point, if I'm not mistaken, and I have been there quite a few times. So that was really cool, because I actually recognized some of the locations. I did remember Tacoma Park being quite so artsy, which they were talking about, but I was pretty young when we would drive through there. Because I never actually read a book that took place in Maryland, I don't think. So it gets a bunch of points for that. The final thing that I wasn't super crazy about in this book was that main character, she thinks she's fat, she's heavier than apparently any of her friends or anything like that. And so she always feels like boys don't like her because of that, and so she has a lot of insecurities about that. And she also has insecurities about the fact that she's never dated anybody and never kissed anybody and things like that. And that's all fine because she has some character growth to do throughout this book. Finds out that somebody likes her. I'm not going to say which boy because that would be a spoiler. But right after she finds out that somebody likes her, she looks in the mirror and is she thinks she's beautiful. But this doesn't actually happen until after the boy likes her back. And I don't think that's really the best message to send, because I'm going to repeat the whole corny thing. You can't be a part of a relationship and love someone else until you love yourself in your own right first. So she didn't actually accept herself until somebody else accepted her, and that's really a terrible message to send. I would have liked her to say that she didn't need to have a boyfriend to feel loved and appreciated and happy within herself, and then she could have gotten the boyfriend anyway, and that would have been a better ending, I think, than having her be oh, I'm happy, I'm attractive because he thinks I'm attractive. I don't know if that's 100% the message that it was trying to be at all, but that's the message that came through when I read it anyway. Other than that, I think the book was great, it was really cute, and I'm definitely going to be reading her other book, Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda, which I've actually never picked up because I didn't really like the cover, because he doesn't have a head on the cover, and that bothered me. But now I'm definitely going to read it because I really like her writing style. And the next books I read was one really small book and then a bunch of mangas, so I'm going to get into those. I read The Tales of Beedle the Bard. This is a Harry Potter book that's supposed to be a classic fairy tales from the Harry Potter universe. So it has 5 little fairy tales in here. And then it also has, at the end of each fairy tale, it has a long essay from Albus Dumbledore saying responses and things to the different fairy tales. And the fairy tales themselves, they were okay. I really only liked one of them, which was, I mean, I'd heard the Tale of the Three Brothers, and that one was fine, but I already heard that in Harry Potter. So the only one I really liked was The Fountain of Fair Fortune. I thought that one was really cute. The other ones were kind of odd, and I felt like they could have been a lot better. And I also felt like there could have been a lot more of the fairy tales. They were really short and kind of strange and didn't really have a great message to them. Especially the Harry Hart one. I really didn't like that one. I was like, that's just gross and disturbing. So, but the essays from Dumbledore at the end of each story completely made the book for me. They were hilarious. But yeah, I did enjoy this and I'm really glad I read it because his commentary made me laugh so much. And now we have some mangas that I've read. I decided to save all of the mangas I read for the end of the video in case you aren't actually very interested in mangas. I would not be offended if you stopped the video if you don't want to hear about the mangas I've been reading. But if you do care about them, I'm gonna try and make this brief because this video footage is already crazy long. Like, you don't even want to know how long this footage is. Oh god. First, I read the first 4 volumes of Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon. I really liked these. I've actually watched, I want to say, 30-ish episodes of the original Sailor Moon cartoon, the one that's I think from the 90s or something. And then I've also watched about like 23, 24 episodes of Sailor Moon Crystal. I've never actually finished the series because I was watching them on Hulu, and Hulu decided to one day be a jerk and not let you watch anything without a Hulu Plus account, which I'm not paying for it. Up to volume 4 is where I have actually experienced the story before, but I still really enjoyed reading these. They're really fast to read. Like, they go through the plot lines really fast. You almost don't get as much fun character development as you do, especially in the very original cartoon. So after volume 4, I'm actually going to be at the point that I haven't read before or haven't seen before. So that's going to be really exciting because I get to find out new things. If you haven't heard of Sailor Moon, I'd be surprised, but it's about a middle school girl who it gets crazy. She is given superpowers by a talking cat named Luna, who I adore. Basically, they end up having superpowers and have to like save the world from these people who are trying to destroy it and try and take over Earth, is the short version. Next, I talked about this series in my last wrap-up, so I'm gonna go through this one really briefly, and that is Kiss of the Rose Princess. If you want to hear what exactly it's about, I would recommend just watching my last month's wrap-up. I'll put it right here. So I read volume 3 this month. I am aware that this is volume 4, but I had to give volume 3 back to the library. But yes, I really enjoyed it. It wasn't as funny as volumes 1 and 2, I don't think. This is a shoujo paranormal manga, but it's focusing a lot more on the high school drama than it is on like the fact that there are these demons trying to break this magical seal and like take over the world, which you think would be a bigger deal than it is, but they're focusing a lot more on the high school drama silliness aspect of it, which is okay, but I kind of wanted to know more about like these demons trying to take over the world and what they're doing to like stop that. So it seemed like volume 3 was a little bit of filler, but I still really enjoyed it and I'm definitely continuing the series. And next I have 2 more mangas, but they're both from the same series, and that is Noragami, I don't know why I used my Japanese accent all of a sudden when I haven't been using it before. Stray God, volumes 1 and 2. This one I did enjoy. It's not nearly as cute as like Kiss of the Rose Princess or Sailor Moon, and these are like my favorite drawing styles, are these really cutesy drawing styles. So I didn't like the artwork quite as much in this one because it's like, it's cute, but it's not as adorable as I like. I like it crazy adorable what I like. But this one was really good. It had some funny parts, but I know it's not supposed to be a comedy, but I like my mangas to be pretty funny. It had some funny parts, but it was mostly pretty serious. It's about this guy is a god, but he's not very well respected, and he's kind of homeless because he doesn't have a shrine and nobody prays to him. He's trying to get money to build himself a shrine by helping people in need and leaving like random ads different places that only those in need can see, and then he charges them a little sum of money to like do different things. And he ends up meeting this other girl who keeps accidentally leaving her body, and then her spirit is like running around. It sounds really weird, but it's pretty good. She calls him to help her stop that problem because it's kind of dangerous for her spirit to wander around, because like a demon can get her, I think, since she's like a spirit. Yeah, she tries to get him to help her with that, but he's kind of dragging his feet about it. I don't know why. He's kind of self-involved. Well, this is random stuff happens. And he like fights these monsters and things like that. So I enjoyed it. It's very entertaining. I'm definitely going to continue on with it. And I do recommend it if you are interested in supernatural type manga with spirits and things like that. This is rated teen, so all of the ones I read, I think, are all rated teen for ages 13 and above. There's nothing super offensive in them. They might have a bit of scary imagery if you are scared of like kind of creepy stuff. And I never heard of this one either. I just found it at my library. So my library has a pretty decent manga section. That is it for my super long wrap up. The footage for this video is like 48 minutes long at this point, so I'm really hoping I can cut it down, because I don't even know what I said that lasted that long. It probably wasn't that interesting. Please let me know what you've been reading this month. I would love to know. Tell me in the comments. If you have read any of these, also let me know, because then we can chat about them, and that would be really awesome. And give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I upload new videos every Monday, plus the occasional surprise videos, so please subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. Bye!